Good evening. Welcome to Omnibroslive. I am OmniDog, one of the OmniBros. And good evening to you. I am joined by co-host Ryleymo, the Omnibus Collector himself. Riley, how's it going?
Doing well, just living that D-list Omnibro life out here.
And along with me on the D-list is, from near mint condition, Omar. Omar, what's up, buddy?
I think we may have bumped to E or F now that we have apparently ladies on this channel. So, yeah, that totally bumps us down. If we were D-list Omnibros before, we're like E or F now. It's good to see you guys.
Are they the A-list? And then
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they're the A-list. They're the highlight. They're like the Beyonce and We're Destiny's Child. Except that like, Omar and
you're like an original member of the Destiny's Child that nobody talks about anymore. You're not even the Kelly or what's her face. I'm okay with that. We had a few bumping songs. I'm good.
I still get residuals.
I didn't join this for fame, you know. So it's good to see you guys. How's everybody doing? Been a while. Been a while since the three of us have been together. I know Gabe is joining us, and maybe Louise. But before we talk, I think Jess has an announcement to make. What's the announcement?
I'm pregnant? No.
It's not my baby.
It's not my baby. If you're talking about InStockTrades.com, our fabulous sponsor, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions, loyalty discounts add 2% to that. Every quarter, there's an Omnibros Live code, which expired last Saturday, 2 days ago. But I'm sure many of you took advantage of it. Over $50 in orders gets you free shipping in the United States. And fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. And I'm going to write a jingle here pretty soon. I'm going to put that to music. I've got it memorized. Riley has a song about himself that he sang to me before the show. I need to work with him. We'll co-write a song. He'll come up with the music. I got the lyrics. We'll be a team, man.
Well, I straight up stole that from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Like, tune and everything. I just replaced Peter with Riley. So I said, Riley, you suck. Riley, you suck. Riley, your videos are fucking awful. Except his was music. It was your music is fucking awful. And I said videos. And like, Riley, you don't do anything of value. Same exact line, but it's just
you're really hard on yourself. Really hard on
yourself. Yeah.
Really hard.
It's hard to be easy on yourself when there's not much to be easy about.
It's okay. Hey, I think we also have a $50 gift card giveaway today, don't we?
That is tonight. $50 gift card.
All right. So, Jess, how are we going to do that, buddy? This was your idea.
Yes. Well, I have a trivia question that is in my head. I planted it there earlier today, and it has been smoking and smoldering all day with the other voices in my head. And I will ask it. And there's from Comics Guide 101, Luis.
Hello.
What's up, Luis?
Sorry,
what's up, buddy?
Hey, sorry, I'm late.
That's cool.
Sorry.
Gabe is late. You're here.
Okay, oh, damn. Well, Gabe is always late.
So I'll ask the trivia question, and I will have a random number generator. The people in the chat will send the answer to our email, not in the chat, our email, and I will take the first 10 while you guys keep talking about something, probably how old I am and how I don't know anything about women or smart comics or anything, and then I'll announce the winner.
Is the trivia question, what's Riley's birthday?
Everybody knows that.
Everyone should know that by now. I shoved that in everyone's face. It's my fucking birthday. Grant Morrison Batman came out.
Before or after a few drinks?
We've already got one question that is an excellent question for everyone, even though it's addressed to me. Everyone can have their say. Hey, Jess, which one of the Hickman series, S.H.I.E.L.D., Secret Warriors, Avengers, Fantastic Four, have elements that carry over to other series, which would make it beneficial to read them in order? Or does that really happen?
All of
That's a
them.
good question to ask because he just did our readathon.
I am in the middle of that readathon, and I'm reading it in the suggested order. It goes Secret Warriors, Fantastic Four. I also threw in his Ultimates run. I read the first part of his Shield run. Did I already say Fantastic Four? And then there is a little bit of bleed through in Avengers from Fantastic Four. Reed brings the bridge with him that he invented in Fantastic Four. That's really the only overlap. I think this is my opinion so far. Go ahead.
There was something else with their daughter Val and Doctor Doom, but that doesn't show up until towards the end and in Secret Wars. Not to spoil anything.
I haven't got there yet. Okay.
Also, the stuff from Ultimates, especially regarding the antagonist in his run, that carries over into like Avengers and
Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to read. You do need to read them. I would suggest reading them in order. They make a big whole WHOLE entire arc when put together. They're not. I don't think they're so interconnected they can't be enjoyed alone.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes for a fuller, richer experience if you read it all like I've been reading it. That's my opinion.
I think that also if you were to, you speaking to viewer / question asker, if you were to start and read his Avengers, you'd be fine like starting with that and going through the end of his Avengers run. But I feel like you would be intrigued to go back and read his other stuff. And that's kind of the positive thing that his whole run has, his whole Marvel Universe expanded run, is that it kind of makes you want to get more of Hickman's mythology, I guess.
Right. I totally agree with that. So there you go, Yarne. There's your answer.
Woo.
Doop-de-doo, doop-de-doop-de-doo.
So I guess before we get started on the gift card thing, when do you want to do that? In the middle of this?
Yeah, probably the middle when we get when we peak. We usually get peak viewers right around the middle.
Okay.
I want to say that I don't remember. I guess the last time I did a video with Luis was with our last reviews. So
yes.
So that's pretty cool to be back. Like all three of the OGs, even though I'm a D-lister now, we're all here, and that's pretty cool. And I think that I want to quash any rumors that I'm creating right now that there was some sort of fallout, like, me and Luis were like, fighting with each other, and that's why we don't appear on screen anymore.
Is that a thing?
No, I just made that rumor up right now because I thought it would be funny if people were throwing it out there.
No.
It'd be hilarious if someone actually thought that.
I can start that rumor really easily if you want.
Yeah, you can be like, yeah, in our little Facebook Messenger chat, Riley's always like, "Fuck you, Luis."
Oh, man, it couldn't be farther from the truth. Even if you did say that, I'm pop into that Facebook chat, totally into it. I miss like 90% of the conversations in there.
I mean, you'd probably just be like, "Fuck you back," and then we laugh about it and whatever.
Yeah, that's about right. Oh, great.
Do we want to talk about hauls, reads, previews, or the review first? We've got an action-packed show full of comic booky goodness.
I know.
Let's do the review first.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because I think this episode might be long. So is that your stack of hauls right there, Jess?
No, this is my stack of summer reading.
That better not be your stack of books you haven't read, because the first two books are for a review.
No, they're just here handy because we're going to be talking about them, but they're on my stack of summer reading, what I'm reading in between and after Hickathon.
Jess is just a fraud. He Wikipedia's everything. That's what it is.
You fucker.
Wouldn't be the first fucker on YouTube to do that.
That is a huge dagger in my heart. God damn you, Luis.
I bet he doesn't even know who those statues are behind him.
That's Wonder Woman.
Oh, shut up.
That's Harley Quinn. And that's Lois Lane. Everyone knows that. Lois Lane with the umbrella.
Wow, you fail. You are
Wait.
not on my team when we do trivia again.
Omar, you got a job again?
I did, man. I got a job
What?
offer on Friday. I took it today. I had a second interview at another place that was potentially better, but the interview kind of kicked my ass a little bit. So I guess we'll see. But at least I have a job. Like it worked out really cool, man. Like I freaked out for a while because I didn't have a job, but I forgot that I was always really good at saving and like selling stuff to buy other shit that I collectible stuff. And so it worked out okay. Like seriously, like my last day at work was my kids got out of school. So I've been with them all summer and it's been awesome. I've bonded with them through Pokemon because I never got to play Pokemon, and now
Nice.
I know a shit ton of Pokemon facts that no grown man my age should know. But hey, no, not hating. This is coming from a guy that collects toys and comic books, so what the fuck do I know? And it's been great, man. And they go back to school a week and a half from now, so I should start work about a week and a half from now. Did we lose Jess? I put him to sleep with my good fortune. What an asshole.
So I only like it when other people fucking have shitty lives. I'm out of here.
Yeah, apparently.
No, I'm happy for you, man. I know that was a
Thanks,
big kind of
guys.
blur
It
on your
was-
shoulders.
It was.
You know,
it
and
was-
let me just point out that your new facial hair situation, I actually think, if I can say this in a bromance type of way, makes you look
man.
younger.
younger.
It does.
You look younger that way.
Yeah, I figured I'd shave for the interview. You know, maybe they might think I'm younger.
You
I don't know.
you still kept some
Yeah, I
chin
kept it.
music going there.
You know, what's funny is this is funny, and then we'll get to the review. About 15 years ago, I got to meet Adam Kubert as he was beginning to draw Ultimate X-Men. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember, Wolverine had the same kind of goatee.
Yeah.
And I've had that for a long time, and I was like, dude, I love the way you draw Wolverine. And I remember him looking up at me going, yeah, no shit, huh? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got a goatee. No, I didn't grow it because of the comic book. Man, I'm not going to sit here and explain to you why I did. Never mind. So, yeah, that's what I remember. All right, let's start this review. Gabe free, I guess, until he comes in stumbling.
Was he reviewing these books, or because
No,
Yeah.
he wasn't. So
He
we
wasn't?
can-
I thought
we
he
can
was.
go- no, he
Oh,
passed
okay.
on him.
He opted
So we
out.
can
All
start
right.
without him.
Okay.
So Louise wasn't in the chat earlier when I was saying this, but we were looking at doing the review a little bit differently as more of like a discussion instead of like, my view, your view, his view, whatever. So if y'all wanted me to lead that, or someone else wants to lead that, y'all can do whatever you want.
Jesse Say What is right. As a matter of fact, Gabe is going to Taco Bell and will probably be live streaming from there as he
He
gets
did.
dinner.
He did mention wanting Taco Bell.
He did mention that. Jesse Say What showing his clairvoyance. And there's
God.
Tyler Blunt.
Yeah, Tyler's in
showing
there.
love for Omar.
He's good. Tyler's a good man. Tyler is a good
Good
If you
man.
haven't seen his show, it comes out every once in a while, whenever Tyler feels like it.
You're not
Which
selling them
I
on
have
this
to say,
anymore.
I'm kind of jealous of that. Fuck it, we'll do an episode today. You guys remember those days? Oh, that was nice. Now people expect things. Anyway,
Which book do y'all want to talk about first?
Let's talk. Why don't you lead the discussion on Ant-Man?
Ant-Man. Okay. So Ant-Man, I think it's obvious why this book came out and why we decided to talk about it. The movie Ant-Man and Wasp came out. Omar and I did an episode about that movie a couple weeks ago or whatever.
We did.
Yeah. So and here's the book, Astonishing Ant-Man Complete Collection by Nick Spencer with a bunch of different artists. This collects, just to run through the basics, Ant-Man 1 through 5 and Annual number 1, Ant-Man Last Days number 1, and Astonishing Ant-Man 1 through 13. So a solid 20 issues, if my math is going right in my head of Ant-Man related material. Of course, it focuses on Scott Lang, so you have the same character that's in the movies, but you also get to see a new Giant Man appears. You get his daughter Cassie in there, and then you get a bunch of different villains as well. So just the basics about the series. Now, what to say first about this series?
I have a question really quick.
Yeah, what's up?
As an avid Avengers reader, okay, so the last time I saw Cassie, she was dead at the end of Avengers Children's Crusade. Spoilers, no spoilers. That book came out like 5 years ago.
Okay.
So she died, right? And then the last time I saw Scott, he was in Fraction's Fantastic Four, and he was a grieving father. Did she come back in one of these like other Avengers titles that I didn't read yet, like Avengers US, Avengers World, something like that? Because as of issue 1, she's alive. So obviously I missed something, just like I do because I don't read every Marvel title. But that was my question. I didn't like, when did she come back? I mean, she's dead.
So I'm going to answer your question and let you know that you made me feel bad because I do read every Marvel title and I can't remember.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was not my intent.
No, it's fine. I feel bad all the time. So I want to say that it probably happened in Avengers World because I remember someone mentioning like, why don't they collect the Avengers World material that led into the book? But I don't want to say that and claim that I know because obviously I just fucking said that I forgot. So maybe we can.
Avengers World was that other. Well, I'll tell you what, though. You might be right, though, because wasn't Avengers World co-written by Nick Spencer?
Right, and that's why I'm thinking that's
probably what it is.
I'm trying to find it.
I was thinking the same thing too, and then when I thought, fuck it, it's comics.
That's exactly what I thought.
You guys and your no explanations. I need explanations. I don't need that Chris Claremont. I got better bullshit. So wherever it is, I'm sure it's some Avengers title co-written by Nick Spencer. But so she came back. So she's back. Yeah.
Soon after World War Hate, an inversion spell affected the moral axis of numerous superheroes and villains. One of them was Dr. Doom, who became, I'm reading off of the wiki, not Wikipedia, but Marvel Wikia.
Marvel Wiki, okay.
Set out to fix mistakes of his past with the help of several years assembled as a team of Avengers. Doom condensed a portion of the inverted Scarlet Witch's power to manipulate reality into a device in order to right his wrongs, but had only enough power to right one sin and chose to revive Cassie. Cassie was brought back to life and soon encountered her father. Avengers World number 16. So yeah, I was correct in my guess.
And that was one of the Axis crossovers because Tyler just said he brought her back during Axis. So did we lose Gabe?
Was he here?
Yeah.
He was here for a second.
He seriously is Kramer. Like Kramer would stumble in and not say anything and then come back out. That's hilarious. Thanks, guys. Yes, it is Avengers World. So you were right, man.
Yeah, so that same way that I made it through college, I guessed and I was right.
And you double checked on the internet because the internet does not lie. I had a hard time getting into issue 1. I will say that.
Okay.
It was really wordy. And I was actually it was funny because Free just did a review of Slott's She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Run. And it kind of reminded me of that.
What up? Hey Omar, sorry, step all over
you. Dude? No, you're good, man. Look at your new shelves.
Yeah, man, I got my new digs.
That's where the magic really happens.
Look at your new digs too.
Dude, I forgot. Yeah, I got new digs too.
Yeah, bro.
Baby, I moved all my shit there.
Dude,
my wife forced me up.
My shit's like a maze, dude. I like maze mine up. Like I got these I got sideways ones, and then I got a couple over here. So yeah.
How does your wife feel? Like, what does she think about sleeping next to, like, thousands of dollars worth of books?
Well, if it's her idea, I talked about this before yesterday with Jess. This is her idea. She told me to do this. She told me to move it down to the master bedroom. I owe her a lot. I need to get her something really nice or do something really nice for her. So
get her a slabbed comic.
I'm like, here's my FF1 for you, baby.
That slab comic, Jess.
I'll send a slab comic to Omar and see what he does about it.
Yeah, do that. So you sound a little sick, dude. Are you not feeling better?
I still got con aids.
Who were you fooling around with at the con, dude?
Like 100,000 like nerds. 100,000 nerds. No, I still got like just a little bit of like a sinus infection.
Well, if it's anything like my house, like it just goes around in a circle, right? You give it to your kids give it back to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fun shit.
Well, I was gone at San Diego. My kids were sick, so I came home. I was already sick. They were already sick. So.
Well, you're a real trooper doing the show today, brother.
No, I'm fine, dude. I'm fine, dude. All the moving, all this whole moving thing from the attic really helped out. And I took a shower, but I got sinus infections, and I take a hot shower. It just comes out all gross.
I will say I'd recommend a shot of whiskey. A shot of whiskey will do you wonders with like another shot of whiskey chased with a beer.
Well, I got a couple PBRs here waiting for me. So
And snort
Alright,
NyQuil through a straw.
Damn,
Snort.
Landed with a thud. Okay.
No, I didn't know how to follow that up, man.
We were talking
The
about
straw coming threw me off. Wasn't expecting that tonight. So yes, I thought the first issue felt really flat. It was really wordy, and it reminded me of Slot's run on She-Hulk. And I'm not the biggest fan of that run because literally, it's funny because, like I said, I replied back to Fariha's review that it took me 4 years to read that because I don't give up reading because I have to read that to get to Peter David's run and then Charles Soule's run, and so. That's what it reminded me of, and I'm like, oh my god, this is one of the review books. Oh my god, look how thick this is. I'm on issue 1 and I'm ready to give up. But you know, I've been reading comics for a long time, so I'm like, let's read at least the first 5 issues and see where it goes. As of issue 2, it started picking back up. It was less wordy, more on the funny. I thought it was a funny book. I will say that. I didn't think the plot was that amazing or anything to be written about, but I thought it was a funny book. It's definitely one that there were a couple times that I kind of laughed out loud.
Now, what I want to ask everyone going to the discussion, what are y'all very familiar with Ant-Man, like as a character outside of like the movies or whatever, if you watch those? Like, is Ant-Man a character that you really give a shit about?
The Scott Lang that I knew was from Avengers.
All that I knew was that Hank Pym beat his wife.
Fair enough.
That's about the extent of my knowledge too.
Guys,
Which was
Avengers Forever fixed that, guys. That's been retconned.
But that was actually a misunderstanding on the artist part on the script. He misunderstood what the author wanted, and even then he said, "Oh shit!" after it came out.
Is that true?
That's true. It was the artist misunderstood what the author wrote, and that's what he drew, what he understood.
And then the editors passed it and put it to print.
Yeah.
So resounding from all of y'all, no one gives a shit about Ant-Man.
No,
Like-
I wouldn't say that. I just didn't.
I feel like Jess really cares about everyone and everything.
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Except for Neil Adams recoloring his Batman.
Yeah, that's a whole different video. I liked Ant-Man the movie, but that was really my first exposure to him in that movie.
But without the movie. Without the movie.
I did not pay attention to Ant-Man before that.
So not to take off the vulgarities and not say like don't give a shit. I'm saying that for comedic effect, but not a character that anyone here really cares enough about to be like, oh yeah, I fucking love Ant-Man. Like he's my favorite character. He's one of my top 5 or even top 10 Marvel characters. Like I'd find it very hard pressed to find someone on the streets who's like, yeah, fucking Ant-Man. Like my 5 favorite Marvel characters are Spider-Man, Thor, Ant-Man, Hulk, and like Ant-Man's not going to be in there. Like very, very few and far between is someone going to say that.
Well, that's true.
I'm sure the guy that like says the Atom would feel the same way, right?
Yeah.
Like, name 5 DC characters you love. The Atom, I don't think would make it in anybody's top.
Or the guy that says Maggot's his favorite X-Men.
Yeah, those guys are very rare and probably should be in a mental institution.
I was when Marvel announced the Ant-Man movie, I was more surprised by that than I was Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think that was a big one too for me. I'm like, no way is that movie going to work.
Well, it's like Iron Man, dude. Before the Iron Man movie came out, nobody really cared much about Iron Man.
But see, I always thought Iron Man could work because he's a guy in a suit and he has a lot of suits. That automatically means they could sell a lot of toys, at least to kids.
Yeah, so did Ken dolls, but yeah, so same premise.
Well, I didn't collect those, so I don't know. I'm just basing it on how many armors Iron Man has. Anyway, back to the book.
So back to the
Luis, what did you think of Ant-Man?
Overall, I thought this was fun. Like I mean, I had previously read this run before, so it was kind of a refresher take inside my head. I think this is a really good spiritual successor to Nick Spencer's, probably my opinion of what he's the best thing he's ever written, which is his
Superior Foes. Yes.
I think this is a really good spiritual successor to that. It kind of has similar tone to it, only you're dealing more with a hero rather than a group of bad guys that try to backstab each other
right
every issue. But this was just a lot of fun. I like the dynamic of him just being kind of a blue collar guy who he just is trying to get his life back together. His daughter just came back into his life. His wife is kind of like, look, get your shit together, okay? And then maybe you could get your daughter and you could see her and things like that. And how at the beginning he kind of goes for this job interview and it's like it ends up being for Tony Stark and all this other stuff. Overall, I dug it. And I dug it as a fun popcorn read, and I dug it as a very good slice of life story. If I were to kind of put this into that category where Matt Fraction made it really popular a few years ago with Hawkeye, where it's a center focused story on Ant-Man, and it just goes through a day in his life and all the bullshit that he has to deal with and how he's trying to pretty much piece his life back together. Nick Spencer, I like the fact that he plays around a lot with the concept of like small and large and things like that. Like, for example, he takes his daughter to a
drive-in movie,
and it turns out it's just a cell phone. Like, and it's really fun stuff like that. And it's the dynamic that he plays with that I really dug that. And Grizz is like my dude. I love the Grizz.
Dude, the supporting cast in this book, the supporting characters make this book. 100%.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, it reminded me of his run on Deadly Foes. Have you guys read that? Deadly Foes of Spider-Man?
Because
that's what the supporting cast reminded me of. And I like this a lot better than I did She-Hulk. Because I thought the humor was a little bit different. And when you compared it to Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, right? I can see that, yeah. Obviously, I don't know how you guys felt about the art, but I thought it was at times a little dull.
I love the art. Rosales, he's
you like
great. Here's what I like. Here's what I like about him. Every single panel has a background. There's no just bullshit. Maybe once or twice you'll see like some bullshit just like color background.
So he's not suffering from the Jay Lee effect.
Right. He doesn't have just like plain colored background. Like every single panel has a background, whether it's Ant-Man sitting in front of like his stoop at his apartment or whatever. There's a background.
It reminds me a lot of independent comic book.
And that takes a lot. Yeah.
And I can I mean I see it working for this, but I don't know. I thought like the stuff in Fractions run, of course, is it's like comparing apples and oranges almost, I guess, with the art. It's not that it's bad. I just thought they could have used a better. Maybe it was the fill-in artist that were in here.
I know the main artist, Rosales, is amazing, dude. I absolutely love that.
It reminds me of Chris Samney or David Aja a little bit in that there's backgrounds and stuff like that, but it's simple line work. It's just simple back to basics comics, and I really like that.
Yeah. Okay. So Rosales is the main artist, right? But these fill-in artists are the ones I had a problem with. Then, yeah, the ones towards the back of the book. Yeah, I can see that. He has a really good understanding of shadows. That's for sure. I really like that. That's what kind of reminds me of independent books. The strong use of inks like that. So, but yeah, I think overall I'm with you guys. I think it was a good. Funny book. This is a Scott Lang that I've never read before, though. I will say that. Kind of like
it's Paul Rudd.
Mad Fraction's Hawkeye was a different type of Hawkeye than what I'm used to. And I've learned to separate that. So if you're like old school and you're like, man, this is nothing like Stearns or hell, even Bob Harris's Scott Lang, then you gotta. I mean, I've just come to accept when a writer comes on, he doesn't have to read everything. It just happens. So, but it doesn't make it less fun. It doesn't make it less because I don't know about you guys, but it's not a book that I would take completely seriously.
I think it's a perfect book for somebody. It's a perfect book for somebody who's a fan of the movie or wants more Ant-Man movie like themed like kind of storylines.
Oh, you can't take it. You have a guy in a bear suit that's like helping him out throughout the entirety of the comic.
Well, that guy's been in comics though. That character has been in the comics before.
Yeah, Grizzly.
But just written differently, right? That's what I meant. Like it's like this kind of stands out on its own in its own little pocket universe. Not like the Ultimate Universe, but just in its own world, which I don't have a problem with.
I think one thing that's cool is, and this is not the first time he's proven this, obviously having done Superior Foes prior, but Spencer has a really good ability to take those, like he finds characters that no one is going to care about that really don't have any huge background or following, and does stuff with them. Like he can do anything with them, and he does that in Superior Foes. He gets a bunch of Spidey villains that are, definitely not the A-listers as far as Spidey's villains go. And in Ant-Man, he does it again. And I'm not just saying Scott Lang because of my previous comment about like Scott's not anyone's favorite character, but all of the different supporting cast and the different villains that appear throughout the series, especially in the second series, Astonishing Ant-Man. It's not a bunch of A-list villains. It's not a bunch of A-list characters, and he kind of has the ability to do what he pleases with them, and what he does is good. He makes a fun comic. He makes a funny comic. He makes something that, as it was coming out each month, I was intrigued to keep reading every issue, and I had a lot of fun with it as it was coming out on a monthly basis, and I was really happy that it got to run for 20 issues length, which was actually longer than Superior Foes was around.
Well, then maybe that's the target audience that this is for. Somebody that has obviously watched the movie and is interested in the character. And hey, there's a Scott Lang comic. Hey, this guy kind of acts like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, because it does mirror that, and it's a lot of that idea of this. I know this annoys a lot of people, and at times it'll annoy me too, but the comic companies are doing that synergy where they try and make the books resemble the movies, and I know like sometimes they do it and it's pretty, it's successful. Sometimes they just force it, and then sometimes it reverts back. For instance, whenever they made Rhodey the Iron Patriot, that lasted like 6 months in comics. Or on the other hand, when they brought around Nick Fury Jr. so that they could make Nick Fury in the comics resemble Nick Fury in the movies, which resembles Nick Fury in the Ultimate Comics, like that they've kept around whether people like it or not. They've forced it into play. So
the one that got me was and I remember talking to Derek Robertson about this, was when he was forced to draw Wolverine to make him look more like Hugh Jackman. He was like, Wolverine was my character. That was my dream book, and it broke my heart when they started like editorial were like, you have to draw him a certain way. You have to make him taller. You have to make him good looking. And he was like, he had already sketched out Wolverine, right? Like he was like, he's this, kind of ogre looking guy because the metal weighs him down. So it broke his heart when they were like, no, you gotta go back from now on, and you gotta make him look more like Hugh Jackman. That's kind of why he left the book.
Yeah, you could read that.
Yeah,
you could read that Rucka run and see Derek Robertson's art gradually change into Hugh Jackman.
I mean, it's still
his Wolverine is the best Wolverine though. His Wolverine unfiltered is like the best Wolverine out there.
I still prefer Silvestri's, but Robertson's is up there too.
Right. I mean, like
great artist.
On character model, that is our character model.
Yeah. He's
ugly. He's kind of overweight, and he's just this big hulking kind of guy. He's got a bad attitude. But yeah.
So I'm totally would recommend this to anybody that's enjoyed the Ant-Man movie and pick this up. This in no way, however, will give you any idea of what Avengers is like, though. But it will give you a movie tie-in sort of feeling. So that's what I would rate. If you've never read anything of Scott Lang, I'm curious to know if there are lots of Scott Lang fans out there, how they felt about this book. Like somebody that truly loves Scott Lang, and he was like, "That's not my Scott Lang. My Scott Lang would never say that." But I'm with you. I don't know of any that outside of like the movie universe, right? The cinematic universe. I don't know people that were that threw an uproar when Bendis killed him in Avengers. One
note I want to make, and just about this book in particular, this complete collection. I'm just looking at the numbers here. So this book is it's $34.99 is cover price. It comprises those 20 issues are collected across 4 smaller volumes, pricing in at $15.99, $19.99, $15.99, and $15.99. So
worth it then.
Yeah, it's if you haven't collected those individual 4 volumes of Nick Spencer's Ant-Man, if you have not bought those and you're curious at all, this is a huge example of these thick complete collection paperbacks being worth the price of admission. And getting it discounted online, I'm gonna check the price on InStock Trades right now.
InStockTrades.com. There's my little jingle, because I haven't said a goddamn word this whole time.
Trigonosis, I forgot about Jeff Johns writing him with Jack of Hearts. That was a good run too.
$20.29.
I mean, that's a good deal for all these books. That's like 20 books.
Yeah. This is a good book. I don't know if you guys touched on it before, but this is a really good book for somebody who like wants like a father figure storyline, or anybody who might be a parent themselves, because a lot of this story is, you know, Scott Lang down on his luck trying to recoup the relationship with his wife and his kid, and he moves to Miami and finds a job and does all this stuff for his kid. So it's a really fun father-daughter story as well.
It also has some ties to the FF run by Fraction. You see the
I noticed that
thing pop in. So it gives some cool stuff. If you read these other things, it kind of ties it into the greater Marvel universe. You see Sam Wilson as Captain America is in there. I mentioned earlier, but you get the introduction of a new Giant Man. Which, you know, not much happens there, but it's just kind of cool that they're trying to keep all of those identities of, you know, all of the different Ant-Man identity and related identities get something. And there's even, I just flipped open to a page that has what's her name, Kate Bishop, female Hawkeye. So that's she appears in there. But Jess, what did you think? Because like you said, you didn't say a goddamn thing. Except that you
at Marco Marco 808. I'm gonna. I know you're directing that toward Gabe, but goddamn, that's a great deal. Just what I'm saying. He traded 2 CGC comics for 5 Omnis.
That's a good deal.
That's a hell of a deal.
okay.
As a person that only, I think I'm with Luis pretty much on this, that is a fun kind of summer movie popcorn book. It was light. He's a lovable loser who just can't seem to catch a break, but he does find a way to succeed, even though, you know, in spite of himself, and he's willing to, you know, literally take a bullet for his daughter, go to jail for her. And I only knew Ant-Man really from the movies. So as you guys were saying, this book is tailored for me as a fan of the movies. And this huge, my question was the movie based on the book? But I'm guessing that the book was based on the movies. Okay. So since I liked Paul Rudd's character and I liked both the Ant-Man movies, I really liked this book a lot. I just found it to be fun and entertaining, and Nick Spencer, as you say, does a really good job with D-list villains that are just super goofy, villains that somehow managed to be a little bit threatening, but mostly dorky. I liked how he had a problem when Miss Thing and the Beatles showed up together because he, ex-girlfriend had been sleeping with a supervillain. I liked that part, and I didn't have trouble following the whole he's been dead, now he's alive, she was dead and dead again, and then now she's alive.
Because you can't remember what happened last week.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that because to me, everybody's always dead and coming back. What was that? Everybody's dead and coming back anyway. So that's just comics, as I think Luis said. So I dug the whole dynamic with his kind of worthless but really funny helpers that helped him run the security thing and business, and then went behind his back to the competition, which happened to be his arch nemesis, big pink guy. And I don't know, I found it really full of heart and humor, and I connected with him. This book made me really care about him as a character. So if there's more good Ant-Man out there with Scott Lang, I'm liable to pick it up, because if it's like this, with really solid humor and just well thought out plot lines, things like that, I don't know. This was I really enjoyed this book a lot, and I didn't think I was going to, because I remember reading Kirkman's Ant-Man, which was a different Ant-Man, right?
Oh, that book was so horrible.
Yeah, which I think made me want to hate Ant-Man, and was yet another in a series of amazing coincidences of how Kirkman manages to keep a good reputation as a writer, because that book was awful. I don't know how I think he lives on the first 50 issues of Walking Dead and then the Invincible run, because everything else by him is unreadable. And I forgot we were talking about Scott Lang. Sorry.
No, let the hate out. I hardly see this side.
Yeah, please, because I echo those same thoughts. And even I think Invincible falls off the rails somewhere in the hundreds.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I enjoyed the whole thing. I have no problem with superhero physics and the laws of Pym particles and whatever. That I'm way beyond that. I've suspended my disbelief to the point where I fully expect things to happen in real life now that are impossible. So yeah, this book, I just had a lot of fun reading it. I was sort of in a bad mood Saturday, and I did not want to read it. And I don't want to go so far as to say it made me get into a better mood, because we all know only Vicodin can do that for me. But I did keep paging through it and did keep reading it, and I got on a roll with it, and it was just really fun.
And that is a definition of a good Jess comic book.
So 5 out of 5 thumbs up from the OmniBros as far as Ant-Man goes.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Cool. So that was nice. Now the second,
I'm gonna say 4.5 out of 5, just to be a little bit different.
We're like a little bit of your thumb up.
Just a little, yeah.
Omar is that guy that has to go to like Rotten Tomatoes and find 100% and then just give it a bad review. So
I'm the dentist that did not agree with Trident.
You're the dentist that doesn't agree.
I don't know if anybody gets the joke. But just got it.
Totally good joke.
Okay.
all right. So next up on the docket for tonight's reviews, the other half of tonight is Avengers No Surrender. So Avengers No Surrender, I'm going to do a quick overview of this before we start discussing it. Oversized hardcover collection of the 16-issue storyline that ended the era for the Avengers under Mark Waid's tutelage before Jason Aaron takes over after whatever event happened. I don't remember. Anyway, so this is co-written by the trio of Al Ewing, Mark Waid, and Jim Zub. It collects Avengers numbers 675 through 690. Artists include Pepe Larraz, Kim Jacinto, Paco Medina, Mike Perkins, Sean Isaacs, Joe Bennett, Stefano Castelli, David Curiel, Juan Blasco, and Federico Blee. So there's a lot of people working on this book.
There's all Latinos working on that book. The
Hell yeah, man.
script translated.
$50 cover price for this oversized hardcover. And the last thing I want to say is that this 16-issue event, so to say, No Surrender, was meant to be not only the end of Mark Waid's run on the Avengers, but also was the end of everything that Al Ewing has been doing. He was working with the new Avengers and the U.S. Avengers, and that leads into here. And then Jim Zub was writing the Uncanny Avengers after Jerry Dugan, and that goes into here. And as well, they use the characters from Occupy Avengers. I don't remember who the writer on that book was, but all those teams are coming together. So I mentioned that because earlier Luis was talking about the book, and I mentioned that, and he's like, I didn't know that. So this is the culmination of all of those runs, all 4 teams coming together and working against a common threat. So so that's Avengers No Surrender, just a quick rundown of the book. Thoughts? Who wants to speak up?
Let me start before.
I'll go before Jess because I want to cut him off. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, Jess. I was waiting for you to talk.
Before we get into the in-depth analysis, let me give my shallow analysis.
Sure.
I first thank you to IST for sending us these review copies of the books. That was mighty generous of them. Mm-hmm. I have to say, as somebody that I don't know that I can recommend this book to a new reader who wants an Avengers book. Yeah. I had no idea that there was Occupy Avengers, U.S. Avengers, Hungarian Avengers, whatever. I had no idea that Rogue was a leader of any of the Avengers, or that I didn't even know half of these. I mean, I knew all the characters, but I had no idea that they were Avengers and that there were so many different Avengers books. But
and
as
it throws
usual,
out right on that
right.
page, just so you can see how many damn characters there are, and each of those splashes is another one of the teams, and then the bottom is the quote unaffiliated members. So there's a lot going on there for anyone who's not initiated.
Which is kind of not to cut you guys off, but that's kind of one of my main issues with the book. It's like I haven't been keeping up with Marvel in a long time. I'm down to the least amount of Marvel books that I've ever read. Me jumping into this cold, I was like, what the fuck? Rogue is leading a team. There's like 8 different Avengers teams, and it feels, for me, it feels like it's just too much. It's like the Avengers is their big franchise because it's their big franchise in the movies. So it seems like they're just like, if we slap Avengers on all these different books, it'll sell. And that was one of the aspects that me going into it, because, my channel, kind of plugging Comics Guide 101, thank you very much. Me going into it, it focuses on books that are user-friendly for somebody that is first coming into the industry and like, oh man, I really want to pick something up. And we do have an audience out there that they are just starting out on their journey, and they kind of rely on us to give them a guidepost. I could not recommend this book to somebody that's just starting out. There's way too much going on and a lot of stuff going on, like backstory leading into this, that I felt a little bit lost with certain things.
Yeah, I agree that I it's it's helpful. They have a lot of interstitial stuff that says what went on earlier, why this is happening, and like Riley showed, they have a cast of characters, and so I did my typical thing that I always do with X-Men, and I just go, okay, that happened, and and just accept that there were like 4 different teams, and I hated the book at first because it seemed like just a bunch of dumb, stupid action. And I thought, is this just going to be a big fight book where it's nothing but fight scenes? And
it just happens, like left and right in the book.
I'm going to interject and say, fuck yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I want out of an Avengers book.
But
okay, well, that's not
shit out of each other.
That's not quite what I want out of a book. I don't want just constant battles. That was my problem with Action Comics with Superman, as written by Dan Jurgens. It was just nothing but fights, and I that's just not what I'm really interested in at this point in my reading career. Now that I'm in the
Look at you, all snooty now that you read all of Hickman's Marvel.
I haven't read it all yet. Now that I'm in the 7th inning of my life, I just don't necessarily want just nothing but punch outs. But
it's a good break, though.
Just get up.
It started to really grow on me once I figured out who all the characters were. There are, as Luis said, an awful lot of characters going on in this book, and it can be hard to track them down, but keep track of them. I liked Rogue a lot in this book. I hadn't been the biggest Rogue fan before, but I liked her a lot in this book. I liked the overall concept of why this thing was happening to Earth. I thought that was an interesting idea, and it was well executed. I liked that. I liked the art, for one thing. I liked the art throughout the whole book.
It's like they chose similar artists that have a similar art style.
Right, there was a continuity there.
Medina draw every fucking issue of this? That's what it felt like to me.
It was constant. The art looked a lot alike.
And I really, there's this one scene in particular I really liked when, I think is when the book turned for me, which is really only the first few pages in, is this expression on Rogue's face when it says Avengers Assemble. The expression on her face right there, to me, kind of gave me goosebumps. It's like, time for Avengers to assemble. And I was like, whoa, this just got real. And now things are really going to start happening. And just that expression on her face was, to me, it looks simple, but it's like she realizes everything that's going to start happening now, that it's a call for all Avengers to start assembling. And it's not even, I don't even think that it wasn't even somebody that normal readers are going to be familiar with, because she's kind of a MacGuffin thrown in there, Voyager, that makes the call.
Well, new or old readers. I mean,
right, yeah, because she's made up, yeah.
Not spoilers.
Spoiler? Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. We're spoiling things. We're fine.
Yeah, and it's cool how they work Voyager into these old issues. Right here, and then I dug how they tied her into the kind of overall arching idea between the two antagonists who are using Earth as their playfield. And there's other little arcs going on throughout it that I thought were good, and I ended up liking it just because I was willing to just accept everything that had happened beforehand, although I was utterly confused in the beginning, just going, whoa, there's that many Avengers teams? Do there really need to be that many? What's happened? It's not an easy book for somebody that has not been keeping up with Marvel. You know, like Riley reads every Marvel book every day, and I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm saying that's why you could enjoy this book,
right? Because
you were right up to date on everything,
right?
But as a relatively new Marvel reader, I've only been really getting into Marvel for the past 5 years or so. If you're not up to date on everything, you're going to have to just accept a lot of things that are happening, or you're not going to enjoy the book.
No, I'm going to, before anyone else talks, I'm going to ask a question specifically to you and to Luis, and I think I know the answer I'm going to get from each of you, so I'll find out if I'm right, and then I'm going to make a comment that I think is going to follow up really well. When reading this book, after finishing it, or however far you got, I don't know, Luis, if you finished it or not, since you both at least started out the same way, did this book make you at least curious to go back and read the runs that preceded it?
Some of them. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. Yeah, I was really curious, mostly about U.S. Avengers, because I did read that first issue, and I was like, this just seems like over the top fun.
Oh
and
yeah.
then pop back up with it. I wanted to catch up with that. I wanted to figure out what the deal was with Rogue, because she seemed to be so prominent throughout this book.
Yeah.
So I missed something with that. So it did get me curious to go back and look at some of the stuff that came before it.
Jess, what about you?
I was in Rogue enough that I might be interested in going back. She was with Unity Squad, which I didn't even know was a comic book.
That's the Uncanny Avengers.
Uncanny Avengers. Okay. It made me interested enough to go back and read that, but otherwise I would say no.
Okay. I thought Jess was going to be like, yeah, give me everything that came before, and I thought Luis was going to be almost the opposite. So I was wrong on that. But my reason of asking that is, and I'm really glad that someone asked us about Hickman's Marvel, because when you're reading Hickman's Avengers, I mentioned it'll make you want to go back and read his other stuff. You can read it on its own, enjoy it on its own, but I think that after reading it, you'll be like, well, I want to read his Fantastic Four now. I want to read Secret Warriors now. And I've seen that happen with a lot of people. But for this book, I don't think everyone is going to have that same reaction, where with his Avengers, you can jump in, you're going to enjoy it. It has a good it has a good beginning, middle, and end, and you can enjoy it on its own and then want more. With this book, it feels like you're being thrust into the storyline that's already been going on. And if you're not caught up, that it's like, oh, well, too fucking bad. I guess you'll just have to figure it out as you go. And it's not necessarily, and this is why, Luis, you were saying you wouldn't recommend it for someone who's coming in dry, basically. It's not conducive for new readers.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at least someone like yourself or like Jess, who are familiar with the characters and have read Avengers comics before, then you can kind of figure out, whatever's going on, and it'll make you a little bit curious to go back on other stuff. But it's not as standalone successful as, say, that run on Avengers by Hickman was. And of course, it's comparing two different things, because Hickman's Avengers is all of his run, and meanwhile, it's like the end of 3 different runs. But still, to put it out as this event all on its own, no surrender, not mention that it's volume whatever out of whatever, it's marketed as its own book. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it works as well as its own book as it could, or even as Secret Wars did as an event, even though it's the end of Hickman's shit.
Well, I mean, I like that you bring up Secret Wars, because the ending of this kind of reminded me of that, not in the sense that this whole universe is kind of restructured, but in the sense of okay, the Avengers are restructuring themselves. This is kind of a new beginning for them. So by the time I reached the ending, I came to the logical conclusion, hell, even a few issues in, I was like, oh, this is the ending of an era of the Avengers. Yes. I'm catching the tail end of a story that has been going on at Marvel for probably, I'm guessing this is probably the end of Secret Wars, and I'm catching the tail end of it.
Right.
And this would either be a good jumping off point for somebody that's like, okay, I'm good. I don't need really any more Avengers. I'm going to try some other titles. Or this would be a good kind of restarting point for somebody that's like, okay, so this is where this ended. Okay, I'm going to start picking up Avengers from here.
I will say this. I think I'm the one that probably is different than you guys. I absolutely love this. I thought it was great. I come from a time though that when I read a comic book, one of my first DC comics was Crisis on Infinite Earths number 8. I never read any DC before that, and I was confused. But as a kid, I was also like, well, there are other things that came before this, so maybe when I have time, I'll go back and read them. So maybe my mentality is different now than a new reader would be. Because on my channel, shameless plug, we're doing the old reader, new reader, where I go back and reread Hickman's run, and then the 2 ladies that are on the show with me, and Jess is joining us tomorrow, are reading it for the first time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that event was so huge that it missed, I missed what I usually enjoy about comic books as characters, right? With this, I felt like with this, it was a big event going on, but the 3 writers gave enough time to all these massive characters they have. I mean, who gave a shit about Living Lightning, right? I mean, he's back, and he just wants to be known as Lightning.
Lightning.
Now, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I remember Living Lightning from the days of West Coast Avengers and Bob Harris's Avengers. Sure, nobody gave a shit about him, and they brought him back. But I mean, he played a big role in this. And that's what I was missing from Hickman's Avengers. I felt like Hickman's Avengers was just so big, and it's comparing, again, apples and oranges, that it's epic for the sake of being epic, that he doesn't have those small moments that this book had. With this moment, there's a lot of like character interaction, and that's what I care about. I mean, I had not read what's-her-name's The New Wasp. I didn't know there was a new Wasp until I read this, right? I'm like, well, shit, she's pretty cute and fun, and I like her, so I'll go and read her little miniseries that came out then. So, I mean, it makes me go back and read things like that. Now, there are other things that I'm like, I don't give a shit about other stuff, but I wanted to know why Bobby Sunspot now has gray hair, you know? So I looked at this, and I'm like, well, I got to check out U.S. Avengers because I care about that team a little bit. Uncanny Avengers I stopped reading after Remender left, so I didn't read the series after that, but I can figure out who's on the team. So this is the kind of Avenger stories that I like. A big epic event that's happening, and it doesn't have to be this long, but that's to me what Avengers should be. This huge force is coming to Earth, and it's threatening to destroy it, and all these characters have to get together. Like characters, like I got goosebumps too, Jess, when like. It's like it's the words that you've been wanting to hear for a long time. Kind of like Professor X is to me my X-Men, right? I'm 40 years old. I've been reading those same goddamn words for the last 35 years, and I still get goosebumps every once in a while when I hear "to me my X-Men." That's just so badass. Full on, hard on. Jesus. Avengers Assemble almost does that too. When it's not overused.
You know, it seemed like I was trying to like shit on it, but when I was
no. I'm just. You were not. You actually. I know.
So what you're saying is in Infinity War 2, when Cap says Avengers Assemble finally, you're going to go just full.
Oh, yeah. I told my wife I'm ripping my shirt off. I'm going to punch whoever's sitting next to me. I thought, you're not going to sit next to me.
Omar is going to
yeah. I have been waiting for those words since Avengers was announced. I'm like, to see that on the big screen, and they keep cock teasing me every time, like the ending of Avengers 2. But anyway,
going to do it. You know they have to do it in Infinity War 2.
Oh, they better, because it might be the last round for a lot of these cats. Anyway, I strongly recommend this because I think it's of epic proportions, and if you care about the characters, and that's what drives the story for me. And maybe you might find some new characters that you give a shit about, like me and Little Wasp chick. I guess that's somebody's illegitimate daughter, right? I assume.
Her series is great, by the way.
Much.
I haven't read it yet. I've got them. I just haven't read them.
Wasp. Yeah, it's really good.
So that's what I meant. Like epic proportions, good storytelling, good characterization, and if I care about more than half the characters, then I'm in. That's a good story to me.
I did like this book a lot. Like I agree with you on quality and everything on this. And I remember when it was didn't you read it as it was coming out each week? Yeah. So.
Because I think you and I were the only two that were reading it.
Yeah,
it was
I remember. Yeah, it was dope. It was cool, and like I remember talking to you about it every week, and you're like, "Man, this shit's fun. Like this is fun." And I was like, "Yeah, surprising like how fun this is to read every week." I was having a blast with it, and for me, I felt like a lot of my enjoyment out of it did come from the fact that like y'all mentioned, and like I've mentioned, I was keeping up with everything, and I read all of the previous stuff. Like I've read everything that happened between Secret Wars and this, and I know that whole story. And I've read the stuff before that even. So I know everything that was leading up to this and where all the context comes from. I know all these characters. I know where they introduced Voyager. I know that they kind of retconned her into the past, kind of like they did with Sentry when he was first introduced. I was familiar with all this stuff. And with my familiarity with 100% of what came into it, I thought that this was fucking dope, and it was an amazing cap to a whole era of books. But talking to Louise and Jess about it, I understand where they're coming from, and that's why I can say like I wouldn't recommend this offhand to a new reader, because under my own circumstances, I felt like I really enjoyed it because of what I already knew, because of what I had already experienced. And like I get where you're coming from, and you're saying
where I'm coming from is like, I think as far as new readers, I think people are smart enough to figure out, oh shit, I like this character. Maybe I should go back and read something about them. Kind of like what you asked Luis and Jess, right? Like,
are you going to want to read more?
Want to go back and read. So I don't see a problem with an event like this, you know, being somebody's first book, because I give people the benefit of the doubt that they can figure out, oh man, this rogue chick is pretty dope, but why is she an Avenger? You know, she was an X-Men, right? Maybe I should go back and read some of that stuff, and then end up reading Rogue and Gambit, which is surprisingly a good series, or what, you know, or whatever. So maybe that's, you know, I don't mind recommending it to somebody as a new book. It wouldn't be my go-to first Avengers book, right? Yeah. That's The Crossing. Damn it! Nobody bit. I was hoping one of you guys would be like, "Yeah, man."
Can I kind of talk about though, like real quick, just the price on this? $50.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully we have, you know, IST where we get a huge discount on that. But $50 for 16 issues when Dark Horse is putting out the Goon Library Edition, the Fear Agent Library Edition, the Hellboy Library Editions. They're putting out these beautiful deluxe edition hardcovers for almost half the cost of this.
Or you got Ant-Man, the other book we reviewed, 20 issues for $35. I know it's not an oversized hardcover, but come on.
Well, guys, but then we have Omnis that are like, you know, Devil Dinosaur or Elektra, or, you know, that like things like that are $100 for less issues. So I mean,
basically,
it's the Marvel brand that you're paying for.
We're lucky that we didn't get bent over.
I'm serious. This was not $75. I am 100% serious. They could have gone with the $75 price dollars.
Oh, it would never sell.
Yeah, that'd be sitting on the shelf forever, right? The next generation.
Oh yeah,
that would be on the end of the year.
Right. I'm not saying it would have sold, but they easily could have put 75 on that, which is ridiculous. But I mean, look at Young Avengers, the Omnibus, right? That was $75. How many issues did that have? 18.
Worth it.
Omar, I think.
Yeah, but
I think it was 50.
Yeah, Young Avengers, I think it was $50.
Was Young Avengers 50 too? Okay, well,
it's funny because for $50 we could get a half price Omnibus on IST. Awesome.
Well, I mean, this is also not, you know, if you get it at IST, it's going to be $26, $27, whatever.
Right.
But there are things that you pay for because it's paying for the stupid brand. Marvel and DC are both like that. They know that completists are going to buy it no matter what fucking price tag they're on.
Yeah, I bought the Venom Omnibus.
Yes, are you going to buy Volume 2?
Yeah, I'm fucking buying Volume 2.
You're a sick man.
I have the Venom. I have Carnage. I'm gonna buy the Venom versus Spider-Man. I'm
you really like Venom. Okay, cool, man.
Riley's in, buddy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I am
balls deep, man. I am balls deep on that one.
Yet still no Maximum Carnage Omnibus.
Oh fuck!
No, it's gonna be.
That's in the that's Carnage versus or Venom versus Spider-Man, which makes no fucking sense.
That deserves its own fucking hardcover. That should be separate. From
that. See, you would pay $100 for that, and what was that? Like a 13-issue crossover?
Yeah, I paid $125 for that, fool.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. You're paying for the stupid Marvel brand. You're making fun of this book for being $50.
I will pay $125 for that, and I would also go back and buy like a retro version of the Sega Genesis game.
Oh, you're a Genesis boy.
Yeah, but.
All right, I guess when Jess comes back, we'll do the giveaway.
Also, on this book, I just want to point out that even though we're past No Surrender and we're kind of past this era of Avengers, they have a mini series coming out called Quicksilver No Surrender by Saladin.
That's right. So, something happens to him in here where you're like, "Hey, what happened to Quicksilver?"
Yeah, and so
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
For the 5 people that cared.
Saladin,
he pulls a Barry Allen, basically.
I didn't give a shit like about what happened to him, but then they announced like, hey, there's going to be a miniseries, and it's written by Saladin Ahmed, and he's the guy that did the Black Bolt 12-issue series, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, and it's good, man. Like it's
one and I
yeah. And then also spinning out of this, you can see the Hulk looks fucking bizarre here. He's kind of undead or so now, and that goes into The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing, who was a co-writer on here. That series has been choice. Like that series is really good.
I've been wanting to read that. It's got more of a horror feel to it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4 issues in, but every issue has been, for me at least, A+. I think that he has a really great hold on the character, and it kind of like, and this will be a little divisive. It feels like the beginning of Bruce Jones' run on the Hulk, which I really liked that kind of like feel that it had. It was really different than the typical superhero jazz and the typical Hulk stuff.
Bruce Jones was a horror writer, so he
Right.
came off of like Creepy magazine
Right.
and Eerie magazine, so it did feel a lot different.
And that's kind of the feeling that Al Ewing is kind of channeling with that Immortal Hulk. So I just want to throw that out there as a recommendation to you guys, because I really like that book right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing great things about Immortal Hulk. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm hearing nothing but
Well,
great.
I'll have to check it out then, because I really enjoyed this. So those I mean, I've always been a Mark Waid fan, but Al Ewing and Jim Sub, I'm still kind of on the fence about.
Al Ewing, a lot of good stuff. I know earlier in our chat we were mentioning his Ultimates. Gio started reading that. That's a solid fucking run.
You want to do the giveaway now?
Let's do it, Jess. Do it, baby.
Well, while I'm doing it, do you guys want to take questions from the chat or do previews or something while I'm taking the emails?
Sure, we can take questions from the chat, and I can look to see what's coming out this week and highlight the 50% off stuff. How about that?
Good. Okay, here's the deal with the giveaway. This is courtesy of InStockTrades.com, a $50 credit gift card type thing, which will be given to the winner of the trivia contest. And you do not answer in the chat. You send the answer to our email, omnibroslive@gmail.com. That's omnibroslive@gmail.com.
So nobody put it in the chat.
Right. Yeah. Gabe just put it up. Thank you, Gabe. So you don't answer in the chat. Send the answer to the email. I'll take the first 10 that get it right and run a random number generator. And that person that answers the question right will receive the $50 gift credit from InStockTrades.com.
Damn, this is so much easier than the way Omar used to do it. This is great.
Okay.
I'm just helping Omar out now.
Well, he's on mute. Eat a dick.
Go back on mute and finish eating that dick, son.
Okay, I've got the email ready and open. So the question tonight, for those of you who, it can be in the subject or the body of the email. Either one is fine. I see both. But to make it easier, put it in the body of the email. Good question, Cycle Cleveland. Don't yell at me. Put it in the body of the email.
Your body, my body.
Yeah, your body. The question is, for those of you who are long-time viewers, short-time viewers, it's been mentioned before, but what does Omar do after sex? The question is, what the fuck? You just gave away the answer.
Was that really the answer?
Yes.
I said it as a joke.
First of all, I'd like to clarify that was a joke. I don't do that.
I said that as a joke. I didn't know that was the answer.
Fuck me.
All right, new question.
New question, Jess. Come on, you're look around. What's the new question? Oh Jesus, he thought about this for like 2 weeks, guys. We're fucked.
No, I didn't have a backup answer. I didn't think Luis was gonna blurt out the answer.
So does that mean Luis gets the gift card?
Okay, we'll do
Blessed.
Wow.
Since it's not a trivia question, send a number between 1 and 100 to the email. In the body of the email, a number between 1 and 100, and I will do a random number generator between 1 and 100, and the winner of that gets to have sex with Omar and Wanja McCry. Gets the in-stock trades gift certificate.
That's a win-win, man, for everybody.
To have sex with you?
Yeah.
And watch you cry.
And read X-Men comics while, after, whatever.
During.
It's the weirdest giveaway we're doing.
It sounds like a fetish site now all of a sudden.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Stooping to new lows today, man.
Wow.
Everybody, well, okay, now I've got all kinds of people knew that you cried. That's amazing. That's
I don't
great.
cry.
For my purposes, you do.
That was taken out of context.
In the subject, put like gift card or giveaway, and then give your number between 1 and 100. And just everybody, just enter once, please. Don't everybody enter like 5 different times. And
the first person to guess the number is right. If you get multiple numbers, the first person that sent the number.
Right. Okay. So send in your number now to omnibroslive@gmail.com. omnibroslive@gmail.com. Pick your number. I'm getting numbers fast and furious, so that's good. Okay, I'm getting a lot of numbers. That's great. I also got somebody that said, "Damn you, Luis."
That guy should win.
That's probably Cycle Cleveland.
Okay, so you have 1 more minute to send in your number.
All right. Anybody want to take a question from the chat?
And then you will be taking, and start
All right.
1 more minute. And these guys are going to take questions, and I'll run the random number generator and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about.
How about
Okay.
this real quick? Somebody's been asking us a few times. Lethan Watson's asking me and Riley, have either of us read the Zeb Wells New Mutants run or the DNA run right after it? I have
Yes.
not.
I have.
Yeah, I've read both of those.
What did you think? And then I'll go and destroy your thoughts.
I think
I'm just
that you fucking
Then don't
suck.
cry afterwards.
We're not having sex. Shut up. Anyway, go ahead.
It's talking about X-Men. It's the same goddamn thing.
It's not gonna be sex. Yeah.
New Mutants.
New Mutant. Zeb Wells was really good. Dan Abnett and was it Abnett and Lanning who did it? Yeah, it was DNA.
Both of them did it. Yep.
It was good, but it not nearly as good as Zeb Wells. Zeb Wells was really cool, and it did a lot of good reaching back to the older stuff.
I felt Zeb Wells was a little drier than DNA's run. While it did harken back to a lot of the old stuff, like with Warlock and Cypher mainly, I don't think he quite understood some of the characters. Of course, then there was that weird crossover. What was the crossover? Was it Second Coming? There was a crossover event during that run too.
There was you said weird crossover. So right between Wells and DNA was the Age of X crossover.
Okay, yeah.
So if
That's
you
what it
said
was.
weird, I'm assuming it's that one.
That's that one. But yeah, I think I prefer DNA's run a little more, but that's just me. I think they got the characters right.
It was
Whereas
good.
Wells-
I mean, like I said, it was good. I just preferred the storylines that Wells was doing. Like he starts off with the Return of Legion, which, that tickled my fancy.
Yeah, you know what I didn't like though was the art in that. The art in that first run.
Who was the artist on that one?
I can't remember, but I remember Adam Kubert being on the covers. Vines? I can't see.
I'll tell you this right now, just because I was involved in the question. I don't think I've ever really read anything New Mutants related besides the Rob Liefeld stuff.
I'm sorry.
No way, man. That's best. That shit turned into X Factor or X.
No, I'm sorry because you haven't read the Claremont stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is classic. But I really enjoyed Louise Simonson's run too, and what happened with X-Force, because I'm a kid of the 90s, so I was okay with that. I remember when that shit was coming out. So I know me and Gabe are around the same age, and I was like every day, that's what we would talk about in school, like when I was in the 8th grade. Oh my God, you read the new issue of New Mutants? It's turning into X-Force. That's so hardcore.
The Cannonball still sucks.
We didn't have dude, he was a fucking external back then. They fucking retconned the shit out of that storyline too. So we have some 50% off books at In Stock Trades this week. It's Batman by, help me out here, Jess, Doug Moinch and Kelly Jones.
Munch.
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 Okay, sure.
Did anybody say Munch yet? It's Munch.
That is 50% off, so it's $25. And then there is the book that I'm definitely going to pick up. I don't know if Riley is. It is the X-Men Revolution by Chris Claremont.
You goddamn right.
That's right, you will. All right, that is 50% off, so it'll be $50. X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga Omnibus, which makes no sense if you own Omnibus Volume 1 and 2 of Uncanny X-Men.
Yep,
that will also be 50% off, so that's a pass for me. I can't believe Marvel did that, but they were trying to cash in on this movie that, guess what, it may not even come out. What did they say it's going to come out?
Called it, son. Called it.
Yeah, good job, buddy. Good job.
Cursed it for all of us.
Punisher by Garth Ennis, Omnibus Volume 2 will be 50% off, so that will be $50.
Hell yeah.
Then there's I think there's a Captain America Epic Collection. Is it Captain America? No, it's Fantastic Four Epic Collection coming up Galactus. That will be
Galactus, one of the greatest stories.
That's one of the best Marvel stories. And if you're an Epic collector, it's 50% off. So that will be $19.99. And those are the highlights because those are the only books that are 50% off. And I know
I might grab that Epic collection even though I own like all the FF omnibuses.
Well, I am definitely grabbing the X-Men Revolution by Chris Claremont because that is my jam.
That's awesome gap filler of material that mostly, if not all, has not been collected before.
I don't think most of that stuff has never been collected anywhere else. What's funny is we need one more omnibus between that and Morrison's new X-Men, and that will make me a very happy man. And let's see, after this one, in between this and new X-Men's by Morrison, it should be like Dream's End, Eve of Extinction, some X-Men Unlimited stuff, Black Sun Magic. But it's not Magic Ileana, it's what's her name, Amanda Connor. Who else? What else?
The artist?
What was her name? Amanda, Nightcrawler's girlfriend. Amanda. Damn it! What the hell's her name?
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
I beat you.
You did, damn it.
Well, both of you are completely worthless as usual. Damn it! What the hell's her name?
Sefton.
Thank you, Sefton. Thank you. I don't know why I said Connor.
Thank you, Nick Martin, for saying that.
Thank you for Jess for having a good sense of humor.
I really appreciate it.
Why can't I find Amanda Hug and Kiss?
Hey, Omar, I noticed, I don't think you said this one, so I'm assuming maybe it's not a 50% book, but did you mention the Batman 66 omnibus?
Is that out?
I think it's out.
I'm just looking at Comic List, so I don't know. I mean, you have the official deal.
I've got the list and it's not showing up, so
okay.
It may have been postponed.
I was just trying to look through on what they've got on comiclist.com because they don't send me those emails with the cool stuff in it.
You should be getting them.
No, I don't get CC'd on anything. But yeah, I'm super stoked for that Batman 66 omnibus. Whether it's out this week or next week or who knows
next week,
I'm really fucking stoked for that one. I was just looking at the other releases to see if there's anything else worth mentioning that might not be getting the 50% off.
Oh no, that's definitely not coming out. Nash Villains, do not buy the Phoenix Omnibus if you own Uncanny X-Men Volume 1 and 2.
It's so fucking pointless.
You get like one extra issue in it that's like a what if. I think that's the only thing in the Omnis.
Here's a question for Riley and Omar. Do you think we'll see a Joe Mad X-Men Omni? And one for Gabe, too. I know Joe Mad.
Well,
wait, what do you mean yes?
That Trial Galactus.
Wait.
Or Trial
what?
Gambit. The Trial Gambit.
No, an Omnibus.
I'm just saying. It's collected somewhere, but man, they should.
Damn it! You said yes, and I knew you talked to him this weekend, so I got excited. I'm like, oh shit, breaking news, Gabe knows shit. And then you're like, no, they have a Trial of Gambit, one of the worst fucking X-Men stories ever.
Oh man, just go eat a dirty dick, dude.
That shit retcons so much of the stuff that I love about the Mutant Massacre. Fuck that book. I love Joe Madureira though, like his art is wonderful. Go buy it, but fuck that book.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen because what's his name, who's been outlining everything, the Settlemyre, I guess.
Corey.
Yeah, Corey. he pretty much has a plan from the beginning to the end for the X-Men for everything to have an omnibus. So,
And are you as surprised as I am that like it hasn't come out? Because Joe Mad is a name to cash in on.
Yeah.
Like, how has his art
Yeah.
not been in oversized format before?
He does
I'm
video.
wondering. I don't know if they're gonna slap it on there as like a Joe Mad Omni, or if they're gonna do it as like something like else.
Because a Joe Mad Omni wouldn't make any sense, right? Because we've got a lot of that stuff on Phalanx. We have the Phalanx. Well, no, I guess it would make sense if they are redoing everything as an omnibus. So if they go back and redo Phalanx Covenant as an omnibus, that's gonna fucking suck. It's gonna be double dipping. There's a lot of his stuff. So after that, after Phalanx Covenant, we have Legion Quest. So that leaves that big gap that has never been collected in an omnibus format or oversized hardcover, which we're getting some in the what the hell is it called? Hello.
He said hi.
Hi. I can't
Oh,
hear you.
Yeah, I'm on the headset.
That was
And then-
really stupid.
Megan just got back from
Really
from the
smooth there,
gym.
Omar.
At least I'm the only one that said hello, dipshit.
I'm gonna peace out for the night. We're gonna at least start watching. We've been renting a fuck ton of movies because we actually have a rental joint down the street from us that has everything, and it's really dope.
Blockbuster. You got a Blockbuster.
It's basically a better version of Blockbuster. It's called Vulcan Video. Is there like 2 out here in Austin? It's an Austin thing, but it's really dope. It's really cool. They have like every movie ever, tons of foreign films, tons of independent films and stuff like that. Anyway, tonight on the docket is Thoroughbreds, which has Anya Taylor-Joy, who was playing Magic in the New Mutants movie that might not happen.
Before you go, there's an important question that I want to know the answer to too. Riley, where did you put that last Abe Sapien book on your shelf? Before Volume 1 or after Volume 2?
Balls, my screen is going crazy. After Volume 2.
It has no number.
Right.
It can go before or after.
It doesn't
And
have
if
a
you wanna
number.
Live on the edge. Put it in the middle.
Hey, we're just looking for some guidance here. Take it easy.
I think that you would not be wrong no matter how you try to do it.
Jess, I guarantee that you will be asking the same question 2 years from now when you actually start reading that stuff, and you're going like, "Hey guys, when do I read the Abe Sapien books?"
Jess probably will never read it, A, and
Wow.
B, Jess also doesn't care about where anything goes on his shelves.
The second part of that is true. The first part of it not true. Luis knows I'm going through a Hellboy extended readathon as we speak. So balls
Okay.
to you.
Oh, wow!
Okay.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Okay.
But it is true. I don't care where things are on my shelf. Got me
I mean, like, I see a
have me
couple
there.
Harley books that are in order, but everything else is just haberdashed.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
But I'm gonna peace out. My lovely wife is here waiting for me to join her now. So,
Riley's gonna cry later.
yeah.
I hope it goes well for you then.
All right, guys. I will see y'all later. Thanks for a fun show tonight.
Yeah, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks
good
for
seeing
being
you.
here.
Yeah, man. Much
Bye.
love. Give her our love.
Okay, we'll do. Bye.
Okay, we
All right,
have a
Jess, we have a
winner.
winner.
He's
Yeah,
totally
we have
gonna
a
cry.
winner. The number was 42, and the man that picked that number is right here in the chat. His name is Rick Nelson.
Rick Nelson. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
brother.
motherfucker.
Rick Nelson, you won. The only question I have is the email that you sent to OmniBros the email that you use with IST, because that's how they find your account to credit it. So, Rick, is that the same email that you order your IST books with?
And I have a follow-up question, Rick. Did you pick 42 because that is the answer to life and everything in the universe? That's the answer.
All that really matters is that Rick Nelson said yes. Same email.
Anybody read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Anybody read here? Besides Luis? No? All right. Never mind.
No, I'm sorry. That book's too smart for us, Omar.
There it is. You said it. I did not.
Okay. So, Rick, we will be sending your information. Omar will be sending your information to IST, and you should be getting the info from them, or however it works. How does it work, Omar?
Yes. What you said.
Okay.
The one time I wander off thinking about movies or something. Yes. Your information will be given to IST. Yeah.
Okay.
They will give you. I think they give you a $50 credit to your account if you already have an account. If you don't have an account, I think they give you a $50 gift card, whatever. But it works.
Right.
It's worked for everybody before. So this is a wonderful, wonderful thing that they do for us. So thank you very
If you
much.
don't have an account, make one now.
Yeah, thank you, IST, for donating this. This is an awesome part of the show. And we can move on to hauls. Did anybody haul anything? I know I hauled something that I want to give a shout out to a member in the chat.
My stuff is not in yet, so no for me.
Okay.
I know I'm gonna be hauling my ass upstairs here in a minute because my wife's been texting me.
Well, let me.
Gonna cry.
Damn it! You beat me to it.
You motherfuckers! All right, go ahead, Jess. What'd you pull?
Well, I'll just plug this one book since nobody really hauled anything. Raph Cevallos, who is Nash Villains, in the chat, found me Kabuki 3, sealed and everything. This thing went overnight to super whale status. It's going for crazy numbers. Even on eBay, it's going for like $250 to $300. So 30.
Wow.
Jiminy crickets.
Excuse me.
It's got a $40 price tag on it. Nash Villains was nice enough to get this for me. Sent it to me Thursday. I already got it today. So thank you, Raph. I totally appreciate it. This is a huge gesture of kindness.
That is very nice.
And I genuinely appreciate it. So thank you very much. I've been really wanting to get into this series, and I did exactly what you're not supposed to do. I slept on it, didn't think about it, and it went out of print when I should have just bought it as soon as it went on sale.
That's awesome because I couldn't even get that from David Mack at SDCC.
Yeah, Gabe went to David Mack's table live on the show and tried to get it from him, and even he didn't have it. So peace and love, Nash Villains. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Was he the artist for the covers for Sandman? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No,
that's
Dave McKean.
Dave
Yeah,
McKean.
this is.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're not doing hauls. Are we not doing reads either? Are we just going to do questions from the
This is
chat?
what I read, Jess. How much time do you have?
I got a hallway.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
all you read?
Oh, well, I've been reading Avengers. You know how thick that book is?
Yes, I do. I just started.
Long.
I have no idea how I'm going to get done with it by tomorrow night for your
Don't
show.
sleep, take a couple of pills, and just stay up reading. And that'll be
Okay.
a completely different experience for you.
Fine. That's a doctor's order I can follow.
All right. There's a Psycho Cleveland question for Jess.
Wait. I did haul. I showed this last night with Jess, but this should make. Speaking of all the Dark Phoenix talk, I did get Uncanny X-Men Volume 1 while in San Diego. I got other stuff in San Diego also, like a bunch of toys, but those I'm not going to show because I'm just going to flip them. So there's really no reason to call it a haul.
Oh, you got toys? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Dragon Ball Z exclusives from the convention.
I can see why you didn't tell me about
Yeah,
that.
you ain't go give a shit about Dragon Ball Z.
I love Dragon Ball Z. I also like to flip their fucking SH figure art toys so they go for stupid money after the convention.
That's
Did you
what I thought
send-
you were doing.
Did you send Dark Supergirl to Omar yet?
Yeah, I did send off his new jack-off statue. So that's good to know now.
Worth it. I'm okay with that joke.
Plenty of packing peanuts. So when Omar opens it up, it's going to just peanuts everywhere.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I really do appreciate it, though.
Yeah, no, totally. I had to make sure that was packed nice for you. I also got a spinner rack, but I haven't opened it yet because I got to find space to put that fucking thing.
Oh, I can't wait to see that thing.
So
It's
I have a
beautiful.
legit-
Take your bed out
spinner
of there. Just take your bed out of the bedroom and just sleep on the floor.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get one of those like bookcases that you pull down and it's a bed, like one of those kinds of badass things.
Yeah, that's what you need.
There you go. Get a Japanese bed, one of those closet beds. That's what you need.
I don't want one made out of paper.
Magic fingers.
Okay, so we're not talking about hauls or reads.
I read a bunch of shit.
Yeah, what'd you read?
Got caught up with Deadly Class. Loved it. Rick Remender continues to impress. I think that's the best book that he's writing right now, and that's including Seven to Eternity and Black Science and all the other fantastic stuff. Remender loves killing off characters, and he's really good at it. So really dug where the last few issues of Deadly Class left off. I'm all caught up, and I can't wait to see where that goes. What else did I read? I talked to Jess last week. I finished Punisher Platoon. I didn't finish it at the time we spoke about it, but I love Punisher Platoon. It's Garth Ennis doing what Garth Ennis does best. Garth Ennis is without a doubt the best war writer in comics that is alive today, and probably is in the top 3 of like all of them. He just knows how to write war and characters that are in war in a way that's fantastic.
When does that take place?
Platoon?
Yeah.
That's in the Max timeline. As far as Ennis, like Ennis's Max timeline, where all this stuff happened to Punisher, that's the very first deployment of Punisher. No, that's the first time that he fought in Vietnam and he was deployed and he was in charge of a squad.
So is this after Bourne then?
No, before Bourne.
Oh, God damn. Okay. So this is the first Punisher story.
It is an excellent book. God, I love that book.
Yeah, because by the time you get to Bourne, Punisher, Frank Castle, he's kind of already a little fucked up in the head, and you start seeing that. Here, he's completely just sharp as a tool. He's precise, and he's also a little bit unsure about himself. He's still learning the ropes a little bit, but it's really good. It's fantastic. It's again, Ennis, Ennis and Parlov, that's a team that you can always rely on delivering the goods. I read that. What else did I read? Started rereading Saga again. I forgot how. Huh?
From the beginning?
From the beginning.
Wow, that's a lot of shit to catch up on.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I stopped reading somewhere in the 30s, and I was like, yeah, you know what, whatever. I kind of want to reread Saga again. I kind of got in that mood, and I'm already like 20-plus issues in. Saga flies.
Well, now's a good time to do it.
It's a
year vacation.
You're right.
Year hiatus right now.
That is a quick read. I love it though. I think it's great. So I'm glad you're catching up.
It's a good. I forgot how great those early issues are. And going over and reading it in chunks, you could see where Brian K. Vaughan kind of has an overall plan for a lot of the story.
Yeah.
And one thing leads into the next, and this leads into the next, and because of this happens, and because of this happens. And I fell all over in love again with it. I fell off around the prison arc, so I'm kind of curious to see where I'll stand with that.
Oh, yeah.
If you know what that is about. But I'm kind of curious to see where I stand with that once I get back on it and pick back up and get to that part again, if I'll still have the same love that I did have for those first.
I do hope that before it goes on a hiatus that they give us the volume 3 of the hardcover that we get.
It's on
I
hiatus.
agree.
So yeah, at least they can give us that. Guys, I hate to sign off, but I need to get going. I love talking to you all. I will see you on Thursday.
Even me?
Jess, even you, my man. You can find me on my channel called Nearman Condition. I'll be on tomorrow with one of these fine gentlemen, Jess. He's joining me for my Hickman conversation. So, yeah. So everybody, good night. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations to the winner, and thank you for participating and listening to our review. And you guys have a great night.
Good night.
Have a good cry. Have a good cry.
Nah.
I told you you'd pay. Let's see. I read. Can you guys stay on for a couple more minutes?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just keep.
Okay.
5 hours straight. 5 hours.
5 hours straight. You're gonna take us to Taco Bell with you?
I just ate Taco Bell on the show.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That must have been when I went to get my charger.
No, I just put it all in my mouth really fast because I was hungry.
What'd you get?
I always get the Mexican pizza, which everybody gives me shit for,
Uh-huh.
and the 5-layer beef burrito.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
And I always get a water. I get a large water. I get a large cup of water.
Omnipool, the answer to your question is, as far as I'm concerned, I leave everything in plastic until I read it. So
Yeah.
I take shit from everybody, but everything's sealed until I'm ready to read it. So it's up to you how you want to do it.
Yeah, no. So Omnipool's question was something that I guess was posted in the Facebook group, which everybody could find in the description. Was basically, is it bad to have sealed omnibuses in your collection? And no, who cares? Fuck what everybody else thinks. If you like it sealed, keep it sealed. If you like to open it up and flip through it to make sure everything's okay, then fine. But if anybody gives you shit from one or the other, then fuck them. That's stupid.
Gabe took the words right out of my mouth. Absolutely. I totally agree with Gabe. Were you done with what you read, Luis, or did you have some more that you read?
Oh no, I was pretty much done. Yeah.
Okay, I'll burn through what I read quickly. I read Volume 6 of All New Wolverine. Loved it, as I've loved all of Wolverine. So that series is moving into my top 10 of all time. I just loved every issue. I read Gabe will like this, Thanos Returns.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanos, the God Quarry. And Thanos Wins. All amazing, excellent books. I love them all. Then I also read the 2 Black Bolt books. I reread the first one to get me prepared for the second one. These things are crazy great. I loved these books too. I feel fortunate that I got to read them. And there was enough stuff in there, sort of ancillary. It made me want to read the Royals. You don't have to read the Royals to enjoy Black Bolt, but the Royals is a good series. I enjoyed this a lot. Not quite as much as Black Bolt, but I still enjoyed it. There's a lot of Inhumans cool stuff going on in this. There's just a reference in Black Bolt to the Royal storyline, and it made me want to read it. So that is what I read besides Hick Avengers and Hick everything.
So somebody was asking if anybody got Superman Blue, and I totally just brain farted and forgot that was coming out. But I really want to get Superman Blue now. I love Electric Blue Superman and Electric Red Superman. That stuff is a great fun time.
Oh, I forgot one last thing. I finished Kate's Thanos.
Yeah,
Thanos
Wins.
Yeah, is that Kate's? That's the beginning of Kate's Thanos?
Yeah, Thanos Wins is his. Yeah.
Thanos Wins.
Holy shit! Kate's Thanos is great.
Isn't it awesome?
Good comics, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great.
It's only a few issues, but I could have kept reading more.
Yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider is a badass, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there's other characters in there.
Yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider was awesome. I love how
Ghost Rider's badass.
There's a certain character that like he asked him like, you spent all this time like wasting your time and all this other stuff. He goes, no, I spent all this time, and then you see that page and you're like, oh shit, it's really cool.
That reveal, I think it's on the last page of the first issue or the second issue.
I think it was the second issue.
Yeah, we find out who like the big bad of the story is going to be.
Yeah,
is incredible. That is super cool, badass shit.
And I liked finding out who Cosmic Ghost Rider was. That was cool too.
I thought his own series now. He's got his own series or mini series.
Does he?
Cool.
Oh, I gotta check it out. I thought the obvious choice was going to be Deadpool, but they sidelined me real quick with who it was. I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Donny Cates is writing it. It's his series.
Oh, he is? Wow.
Yeah, so Donny Cates is out there right now. Like he is like a big, I don't know, I want to say up and comer because he's already kind of there, but he's making waves. He's doing Venom now. That's flying off the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmic Ghost Rider. I don't know if he's still doing Baby Teeth and Redneck. I'm not sure, but
He's doing Redneck because a new issue just came out this past week. He's gonna reboot the Marvel Knights lineup. He's heading that.
Yeah, I know some information about that Marvel Knights stuff too. I'll tell you guys later.
Cool.
Omnipool, the answer to your question is actually really simple because they're numbered. The Thanos books by Jeff Lemire numbered 1 and 2, and then which is Thanos Returns 1, God Quarry 2, and then after that you can read Thanos Wins.
And you can read Thanos Wins without reading the first Lemire stuff.
Absolutely, it's a whole self-contained story in one book. It doesn't continue on. It's self-contained, and as Gabe says, you can read it by itself. But don't deny yourself the pleasure of Jeff Lemire's fantastic Thanos story.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff.
That's what's so funny because that issue 13, Donny Cates' first issue, is like $100 right now.
You're kidding?
What?
Yeah, it's going for crazy money because he was basically unknown at the time, and he's taking over Jeff Lemire. So nobody really ordered it. It was kind of like, oh, Jeff Lemire is leaving, so we're going to cut the orders and stuff like that. And that book blew up because of the whole Cosmic Ghost Rider and all that kind of crazy stuff going on. It's like $100 book.
I mean,
wow.
Just the amount of creativity though in those 5-6 issues, whatever it is that Cates has, is insane. Like in 5 issues, I don't want to say he trumps Lemire because Lemire was kind of doing his own thing and it's different, but I would say he had more creativity in those 5 issues than Lemire had in the 12 issues that came before it.
I mean, Lemire stuff is cool, like with the Phoenix Force and the whole thing with what's her face,
his son and everything, all that, yeah.
But just Donny Cates is a fun writer. Everything he writes, you can tell he's having a good time doing it. So it really shows it pays off in his work.
Yeah, I mean that is a fun read. That doesn't just push the envelope; it blows the envelope apart. I mean, it just went out there and did all kinds of crazy stuff. I love that book. So let's see. That's what I read. And Gabe, did you read anything besides the label to a NyQuil bottle?
Nope. I lived in a NyQuil haze this week, and I moved my comic book room, so I haven't had much time to read.
Have you read the Jim Starlin Thanos books, the newer things?
Yeah. Like the first 2, what is it called? Like Relativity and like something else. I think I read those. Those are really good.
Okay.
He's got another one coming out called Siblings. I think it's coming out soon. No, I think there's something else. But he's got another one coming out. Those like oversized, really thin hardcovers. They're really fun stuff. It's Jim Starlin.
The Infinity Relativity, the Infinity Revelation, and the Infinity Finale. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, he's got another one that came out just recently called Infinity Siblings.
Oh, I'd like to read that.
Yeah, and there's another one that he's working on now that just got solicited, and that'll be coming out pretty soon too. And that's the one, the newest one that's coming out. That's the one that made him quit Marvel again.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I guess that storyline was very similar to what Donny Cates was doing. Nothing on Donny Cates or anything like that, but apparently the story goes that Jim Starlin was talking to like Tom Brevoort and the other editors of Marvel, and they're like, no, they're similar, but they're not the same thing. So you're good writing your story, and he's good writing his story, and ended up being basically almost the exact same thing, and that really pissed him off, and he just made him just stop writing for Marvel.
Fucking scalpers. I'm looking on eBay right now. Thanos 13, $195. CGC.
There you go.
It's fucking ridiculous. I hate
Is that,
look at the
what it's
CGC
sold
of the
for?
variant cover.
$195.
Is that a sold price or is that an offer price?
It's an offer price. Hold on.
See what it hit the sold thing and see what they're selling for.
That's ridiculous.
So Thanos 13, $68 right now.
That's still pretty hefty for a brand new book.
If you got that Raphael Albuquerque 1 in 25 variant, which I remember we had at the store, and we sold it for basic cover price is like $400.
Whoa!
Yeah. If you have it graded, forget about it. It's out of control.
Oh shit! Batman New 52, #1. I have one of these. It's CGC one's going for $200.
What's the grade?
9.8.
Those 9.8s are really hard to come by. That book, for
Yeah.
some reason,
Yeah.
barely gets a 9.8.
Because it's all black.
Yeah.
I need to take a look at mine.
Yeah, I may need to call my comic advisor and tell him to be on the lookout for Thanos 13.
Well, the rumor is that the Court of Owls is going to be the villain for the next Batman movie. So I'm like curious as to what the price for that first appearance of the Court is going to go for.
Oh.
That's going to shoot up once they.
Well, I noticed they injected the Court into Gotham. Not that I watch Gotham anymore, but I did see an episode that had the Court of Owls in there.
What, the Joker's brother story didn't quite do it for you, Jess?
No.
God, that's horrible.
I know that I love the first season, but then the second season just sort of went off a cliff for me.
So Thanos 13, first print, 9.8, sold $200 plus shipping.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was genuinely under-ordered, so it's actually scarce. It's not speculators grabbing up multiple copies.
No, it's not out there. Like, we had him at the store like right after that was released, and we didn't really have much because we didn't order a lot. Honestly,
wow.
it's all just everything. But here might be a trick. Somebody might want to look into this. If you have the lenticular cover, which is really cheap and easy to come by, I believe, I might be wrong. You might want to double check this, but I think underneath the lenticular cover of 13 is the regular cover for 13. So you could buy a lenticular cover for dirt cheap, take off the lenticular cover, and then you have yourself a $200 comic.
Now that's somebody that works in a comic shop with that kind of knowledge.
But double check if it's the regular first print cover underneath the lenticular, rip that bitch off.
There's gonna be a lot of Thanos 13s popping up on eBay tonight.
Yeah.
But dude, I hope they do a hardcover for that series pretty soon. I would love to pick that up.
The entire thing?
Yeah. Especially the Donny Cates stuff, because that stuff is really fun with,
The
Again,
artwork
Falcon
was
Red.
really good throughout the whole Thanos run.
Yeah, Jeff Shaw. Jeff Shaw's great. He's repped by Felix Liu, who sold his, I think, for the most part, he sold the entire issues to those Thanos books all in one. Like the original art. Like all 25 pages or whatever.
Wow.
These days. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mike Diodato did the art in the Thanos Returns, and that was gorgeous.
Yeah. And Jeff Shaw and Donny Cates, they did God Country together. I think that's where they first kind of
Mm-hmm.
picked things up.
Okay.
What's
Well-
your Taco Bell?
We've actually been on 2 hours, so that's probably the limit for me. I have to go make banana bread. Upper management has requested it, and
You're
it's in
making,
my.
you're making
it's-
banana bread like this time of the night?
Yeah, that way it'll be fresh in the morning. I do get up at like 6 a.m., so I could make it in the morning. But I have the energy now. I don't know that I'll have the energy in the morning.
I want to comment on your shirt, Jess. I don't think I've ever seen you really wear a T-shirt before. I didn't think you owned T-shirts.
Oh, yeah. I got
You
this
tuck-
one.
Do you tuck your T-shirts into your pants?
I do not.
Okay, good. I would have to stop associating with you if you did.
No, I'm generally an untucked shirt kind of guy, unless it's a formal occasion.
Right.
Yeah, this came in a Marvel Collector Core box, one of the last ones I got. It may have been the last one I got. I can't even remember what the theme was that would got me Howard the Duck t-shirt.
All right. Yeah, I got to call it. I got to get going.
Okay, Luis, where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Comics Guide 101 on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. I should have a Shazam video out sometime this week. I have the script done. I just haven't been able to get to it. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Nice. Gabe Infinity Watch, where can they find you? Did I just tell them?
Yeah, just Instagram and here on the Omnibus Collectors Network, which is the new name of this channel pretty soon.
That's right.
Together.
We are renaming it the Omnibus Collectors Network, with the girls having their own show on Sunday night. And I think Gabe and I talked about it, and we're nervous that they're going to exceed our popularity. And I think that was Gabe's prediction, that they would be more popular than we would be. Didn't you say that last night?
Yeah, I'd be okay with that if that was a fact.
Yeah, it's good for the channel. Not my ego, but it's good for the channel.
Yeah.
Or the network, rather. And you can find me, OmniDog, on OmniDog's Vault on YouTube. I just did 2 videos today. Or I did a video yesterday and a video today. I can't remember. I think I did 2 today. And on Instagram, OmniDogs_Vault. So remember, go to InStockTrades.com. Listen to us, and you get a chance for $50 gift certificates and extra promos and things like that. IST works magic with OmniBros as a partner. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to the chat. The chat was great tonight. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Good night, everybody.